Not really sure how she can showcase her psychokinetic powers if she's still sealed in her packaging. Here's your look at new Jazwares Stranger Things 11 with accessories. Unleash your full potential with Stranger Things 11 upside-down collector figure. This authentically scaled 6-inch action figure is based on the powerful psychokinetics appearance in the 5th and final season of the hit series Stranger Things. It features 33-plus points of articulation and a soft good clothing to highlight authentic character details. It also comes packaged with alternate faceplates and unique character accessories to recreate iconic moments from the show. I can see 11's dressed for running, hopefully not running for her life. We're not going to run, but we're going to take to stepping right away to taking the tape measure and seeing how tall the figure stands. The upside down collection 11 is going to be scaled in size with the already previously looked at Demogorgon, which yes, we will be bringing in shortly. Because of that, though, she's going to be standing at 6 inches in height, clocking in, though, at a figure that's about 15 centimeters tall. I'm sure much closer in quarters than what she really was wanting. But here's what the figure looks like with another upside-down collection, that being the Demogorgon. The first wave, though, only seems to be 11, Dustin, and Demogorgon, but I'm sure we're probably going to be getting future waves as we get closer and closer to the new season of Stranger Things premiering. Premiering now are the 4 accessories that come included with the figure. She has, first of all, a very awkward-looking flashlight. It's so bent getting out of the packaging. Now, to be fair, though, they are using a fairly soft plastic anyways. Some trend that you'll find actually when we look at the rest of the figure. But yeah, the flashlight is a little on the more bent side. I can't tell though if it's actually supposed to be on or if the batteries are just starting to drain. I think overall it's okay. I mean, again, it's a little on the more bent side. It does fit into the figure's hand. She does actually have 2 gripping hands. But again, you'll see with the plastic, the hands, the accessories, all for that matter, are very gummy and very like bendable. If you kind of really recognize that kind of plastic on some of your figures, she has that kind of plastic. She does also have a backpack. And the thing that's cool, at least about the backpack, is that yes, it does go on the back of her body, but also though that you can actually open up the flap, take the flashlight, bent or otherwise. Let go for a second. You can actually take the flashlight and fit it into the pack. Now you can fit it somewhat all the way down there, but my only real one worry though is once you get it far enough in the pack, will you have a hard time getting it out? The answer is yes. But it does maybe seem like she could also store some other things as well. But no, it doesn't give you the means to hold her wind jacket, her windbreaker. This can again fit on the back of her body. You can choose either to have the way it's designed where it's just, obviously just put on her back like so, or you can also dress her up first, get her all warm because again, you don't know how cold it is outside. Dress her up first, then you can put the backpack on. All those things we'll again be doing shortly. The figure does also have a swappable head sculpt. The head sculpt does look generally angry. She doesn't have a bloody nose, though. I don't know if I'm sure she's still going to have that in the series. This can then be swapped out with the face that she currently has right now. Before we start swapping out anything, though, the figure does also come included with a windbreaker. The jacket, I think, for what it is, I mean, considering for the price of what these figures are selling for, a little over the $25 mark, I think, though, the jacket is pretty well tailored. I mean, it's seamed nicely. They even actually have drawstrings on the side where you can actually tighten up the top of the jacket hood. I think that's really nice. The jacket obviously does fit over top of her body. I guess maybe before we actually do that, we'll just kind of put everything to the side. Leave it with me, though. We'll come back to that in a second. I did say already, though, the figure does actually have use of that very rubbery kind of plastic. You'll see here on her hands. You'll see it down especially here for the legs. Very kind of gummy kind of plastic. It does kind of really feel like her legs don't stay properly in place. Often you'll feel yourself just kind of constantly pushing her legs back in place. They always seem like they want to be dropping down. The plastic, I think, is okay, but I really would have preferred they maybe used a different type of material or a different type of plastic because, again, it feels kind of really gummy. I felt sort of the same way when we looked at also the Demogorgon. Face sculpt for what we get, the neutral expression, I think is pretty good. It looks a little bit like 11. It also looks a little bit like Queen Annabella, not Annabella, the girl from Star Wars. Amidala, Queen Amidala, thank you, Natalie Portman. It does look a little like Natalie Portman as well. I think for, again, like sculpting, I mean, for this being a retail release figure, obviously there could have been companies that had done a better job of doing an 11, but I think it's okay. My one thing, though, really, and there's also a smaller scale version of 11 too, that happens to be wearing this exact same outfit. I would gather, though, that this is probably the outfit she's going to be wearing at the beginning of the series. That tends to usually be the case. Companies, when they produce a figure, they usually produce it by the way the way that the figure is going to appear, the character is going to appear in the opener of that series. I hope, though, that this isn't going to be the standard for what she's going to be wearing for the rest of the series, because, again, I don't think it's the most flattering of outfits. Sort of has her sweats on there, top and the bottom, and then she's got also shorts over top of that. What kind of rocking fashion sense is she going to be getting here? I mean, like, The pants don't look the most flattering. I mean, also it looks maybe makes it a little bit more thigh or a little hippie. Down below, though, I will say, though, I do think they've done a nice job of actually striping the socks. There is details here. I just don't think it's the most flattering of outfits for a character like an 11 be wearing. Truth, again, be told, I'm sure they're probably going to have her wearing this at the beginning, but I feel like they're probably going to be having her wearing different outfits. I think even like on the poster for season 5, they have her actually having this exact same look. So whether how long this look is going to last in the series or not, this is the look that they decided to go with for Jazwares' release of her. If you did want to get the jacket on her, though, by the way, I guess, actually, before we do that, let's look at the figure's articulation, because it's going to be a little bit harder to get things going if I have a jacket over top of her. For the figure's articulation, 11's going to be on, first of all, ball joint. Now, she actually does have a ball joint both here, and she does also have a ball joint at the base of the neck. That's pretty impressive. And again, you can also swap out the face, too. Arms rotate all the way around. You can bring those arms out. Now, I had a real struggle, and I still continue to have a struggle getting her arms completely out bent. There seems very, very much of a limited joint when it comes to right here in her shoulders. I mean, you can bend it, but it feels like, especially with this kind of rubber plastic, you don't really know what tolerances you're dealing with. When you feel like almost like, is that the point where I really should stop? Is this plastic going to break? It does give, but it gives at a way that, the plastic just doesn't feel like it's all that forgiving. The top of torso is really quite generous when it comes to the ball joints. I guess really we should look at the rest of the arms, but there's a swivel there at the top of the bicep. There is a hinge in the elbow. And again, here's the hard thing when it comes to plastic like this. You'd think, though, like there's not much you can really bend to it. And when you go to actually bend the elbow, it feels like it really wants to kind of stop. You have to kind of just push your way along and hope that nothing ever really breaks. I guess the plastic is that kind of plastic that you don't have to worry that things are going to necessarily snap. But it does feel, though, like you're putting more pressure against it than you really what you want. Hands rotate all the way around. Yes, you can hinge them back and forth there, too. The legs split, but again, they're so awkwardly of a splits because when you move it, she does this, and you have to keep pushing this back. The legs move forward, they move back, but again, doing the same. She has a swivel there at the top of the thigh. It's just a mess, though. I really feel for her thighs. There's a double hinge on the knee, so at least that's good. She has ankle articulation both back and forth and up and down. She does also have peg holes in the bottoms of her feet. Unlike, though, the Demogorgon that we've already had a look at, 11, no, does not come included with a display stand. If you did want to swap out, though, the face, it's just a case of actually yanking off everything. I thought, though, the ears would stay behind, but it turns out, though, that the ears are part of the front of the face. Just take that off. Take, of course, then the new head, and you're plugging it essentially onto that rectangular peg. I know I'm probably stating things that you probably already can see for yourself. Just, again, plug that onto the peg. This one doesn't seem to sit as well, and when you feel like you got it on there, it still seems like there's a gap right between her face and the back of her hair. Maybe I don't have that all the way on there. There we go. Yeah, I don't really like this head sculpt. I'm not just saying it, though, by the way I've executed putting this actually on the figure's head. It just seems like it doesn't fit. It doesn't look right. It looks like the face is almost even sliding off from the front of her, from the back of her head. I think I would rather, though, just kind of go back to the regular neutral expression. But we're going to go with this for at least right now. To get it on the jacket, just obviously it's like dressing a little toddler. A toddler if you had a child about that size. Get the jacket, slide it up her arms. No, you don't necessarily have to remove the hands. Slide it all the way up the forearms. This side as well. And then we just kind of bring the arms back around. Again, we can kind of bring the hood back. Do we want to put the backpack on too? Okay, we'll put the backpack on too. Again, we'll just bring back the arms the way that we had it before. Take the straps, one side. Successfully. Can we do it on the other? There we go. It is a little, to be fair, harder getting it on both her arms, especially when the jacket's on her. I seemed to fare all right earlier. I don't know why. I guess because the camera's looking at me and everybody's looking at me, I feel more nervous, but get that all the way on there. There we go. I think we got it. Okay, good. Slide it all the way up there, and then we just kind of course correct the arms. Bring back the hoodie. I think the hoodie, if anything, or the jacket that she's wearing, draws a little more attention away from the fact that, again, her sense of fashion seems a little, again, questionable for Season 5. Again, I don't love this head sculpt, but again, like if you want to have the figure displayed, I will say at least to Jazwares, having, though, to include an extra head for the price point that they did do these figures, I think is really, again, quite the feat. They easily could have just released this figure without a soft goods jacket, with maybe just the backpack and the flashlight as being her sole accessories, but then to include a pretty well sewn together jacket that does actually, again, you just draw those cords back, you can tighten up. Not the easiest. I mean, it doesn't really stay, though, so much in place. but at least being able to tighten the back of the hood, that's pretty impressive for, again, a $25 figure. All in all, though, again, like 11's okay. I mean, it's not certainly one of the better 11s that we've gotten. There has been, admittingly, other companies I think that have handled the character just a little bit better. I sort of felt, again, the same way when we looked at the Demogorgon. They're just okay. They're middle sort of the mark. Now, I think, again, one thing that Jazwares has done well, though, is that they've also released 2 different size classes. So, again, you've got your 6-inch scale, which I kind of more gravitate towards, and then they also have the smaller scale. Now, they did have a smaller scale, both Demogorgon and 11, recently, though, when I trekked out to Walmart. I didn't decide to pick them up. I probably maybe should have, so we could have also looked at those in upcoming videos as well. I still think, truth be told, though, I kind of think I like the 6-inch just a little bit more. While, again, I have to really question 11's choice in attire. Maybe, to be fair, this is, again, the way she's probably going to be looking at in the opening of the series. And, again, if she probably does change her outfit later then into the other episodes, maybe Jazwares might also release another 11 to go along with that. I think for what it is, there's some positive points. Having, though, a swappable faceplate for, again, a $25 figure, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. The face, I think, still looks better with the neutral. Changing out this head sculpt, it just kind of seems like something's a little bit more off on it. Having, though, to include a jacket, that's a nice touch, and a backpack, and also a flashlight you can store in the back of the backpack. Those would all be things that normally, if you think of like a low-tier figure company or figure line, you would think that like a backpack would never open, it would never store an accessory inside, and you would never get a soft goods jacket. Checking off all those boxes, Jazwares at least threw extra things in with the release of 11, not just releasing solely a 6-inch figure of her. If you're one that thinks that 13 is an unlucky number, then unluckily for you, the difference between the 2 size classes of 11 is about $13. The 6-inch version of her at least sells in stores and sells online for $29.97, whereas the 4-inch of 11 sells for $16.97. So again, it's about a $13 difference. What seems, though, to be the same is the outfit that she wears, the sweats in the gray, and of course the red trunks, the red shorts. But then the head sculpt, one thing that's different actually is the 4-inch version of 11 does actually have a mask covering over her face. It seems like that same blue mask that she has around her neck in the 6-inch, although it's going to be covering her face, or at least covering her mouth, in the 4-inch release of her. She still, though, has, in 4 inches, a smaller backpack. She doesn't, though, have a flashlight, but she's going to have a walkie-talkie, I think some bottled drink, and some small snack. So those are the things that are going to be coming included with the smaller 4-inch scale 11. I've seen her in stores. I'm not really sure, though, if I'm interested enough to get the 11 in a smaller scale figure. Although, to be fair, though, and I did say this with a review of the Demogorgon, one thing I think at least is cool with what Jazwares has done with the smaller class figures is that they've also included things like bikes. 11 doesn't have a bike, but all the rest of the kids do. Maybe. I'll see if I can. 16 still seems high for a 4-inch figure, but considering, though, that she does also have some additional accessories, that may not be a bad thing. And though while the 4-inch doesn't have at least a jacket, the 6-inch does. And what's one of the things actually I do like about this figure, that they included some additional kind of gimmicks to her, that she does have a fabric jacket, that she does have a swappable face. I don't think, though, the swapped out face is as successful as the one that she starts with when you first get her out of her package. I think the regular neutral face looks still better, even though it looks a little like Natalie Portman. I think it's, though, definitely a lot better than the screaming portrait that she has. Not only do I think the face look a little off on this one, but it doesn't seem to attach onto the back of her head the same way that the first one does. It seems to leave like a very weird looking gap space. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not also really a big fan of the more gummier plastic that they seem to continue to use with these figures, says the guy again who's only looked at 2 so far. I would imagine, though, that trend will continue as well when we look at the Stranger Things Dustin, which his review will be also coming up this week. What do you guys think of the new Jazwares Stranger Things Season 5 Upside Down collector's figures? I don't even, again, know how I'm going to get that all in the title. Do you prefer to collect, though, the 4-inch figures, or are you liking more the 6-inch? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you guys, in the meantime, did enjoy this video, you can do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. As said already, kind of spilling the beans early, we're also going to be looking at the Stranger Things Upside Down Collection Dustin. His review will also be coming up this week. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.